The cleaning cart's left wheels squeaked as I pushed it down the hallway of Sterling Financial's executive floor. Another late night, another round of empty offices to clean. The executives had all gone home hours ago, leaving behind their usual mess: coffee cups with lipstick stains, scattered papers, and carelessly dropped paper clips that I had to fish out from under their expensive desks. My name is Marcus Torres, though to the employees of Sterling Financial, I was just the janitor, or sometimes "Hey you." They never bothered to learn my name, never looked me in the eye when they passed me in the hallways. To them, I was invisible, just another part of the building's machinery, like the elevators or the air conditioning. I pulled out my phone and checked the time, 8:45 p.m. Perfect. The night security guard wouldn't do his rounds on this floor for another 45 minutes. I had already memorized everyone's schedules, their patterns, their habits. You see, being invisible has its advantages. When people think you're nobody, they don't bother to hide anything from you. As I cleaned Bradley Thompson's office, Senior VP of Acquisitions, I could clearly see the documents scattered across his desk. Confidential merger plans, internal valuation reports, client lists. They never thought the janitor would understand what these papers meant, let alone use the information. But what they didn't know was that before I became their janitor, I had graduated summa cum laude from MIT with a double major in business and computer science. Not that it mattered. One market crash and a family medical emergency had wiped out my savings and left me with crushing debt. When you're desperate, you take whatever job you can get. That first year as a janitor had been humiliating. I still remember Jessica Moore from Human Resources walking past me in the break room, wrinkling her nose as she whispered to her colleague, "God, can't he afford better clothes? He always looks so shabby." I was wearing a cleaned and pressed uniform, the same one they required me to wear. But to them, everything about me looked shabby simply because I was the janitor. Then there was Michael Chin, the hotshot young trader who loved to show off. "Hey cleaning guy," he called out one evening as I emptied his trash. "Maybe if he'd studied harder in school, you wouldn't be scrubbing toilets for a living." His colleagues laughed, and I kept my head down, focusing on my work. What Michael didn't know was that at that very moment, one of my algorithms was executing trades worth millions of dollars through a shell company I had created. While they mocked me, I was building something that would change everything. It had started almost by accident. During those long nights cleaning the offices, I began noticing patterns in the documents I saw. Market trends, investment strategies, client behaviors. Being invisible meant I had access to every floor, every department. I saw the complete picture in a way that even the executives didn't. I started small, using my savings to make careful investments based on the patterns I observed. My background in computer science helped me create sophisticated algorithms that could analyze market data and execute trades automatically. Within 6 months, my initial $5,000 investment had grown to $50,000. That's when I formed Torres Ventures, though of course I wasn't listed anywhere as the owner. On paper, the company was run by a reclusive investor who never attended meetings in person. Everything was handled through layers of shell companies and virtual offices. I kept cleaning offices by day, building my empire by night. Every insult, every dismissive glance, every cruel joke just fueled my determination. They thought the janitor was taking a bus home because he couldn't afford a car. In reality, I was using that time to work on my trading algorithms on my laptop. "Look at him," I overheard Bradley Thompson say one day to his assistant. "No ambition, no drive. That's why some people never amount to anything in life." I had to bite back a smile. That same morning, Torres Ventures had closed a deal worth $12 million. My company was growing faster than I had ever imagined, but I wasn't ready to reveal myself. Not yet. I needed them to keep underestimating me, keep thinking I was nothing. Every night, after finishing my cleaning rounds, I would go to my small apartment and transform into a different person. I had set up a high-tech trading station hidden behind a false wall, multiple screens showing market data, powerful computers running my algorithms 24/7. This was my real office, not the janitor's closet they thought I operated from. By the third year, Torres Ventures had grown into a significant player in the financial technology sector. We were known for our innovative trading algorithms and perfect timing in market movements. Speculation about the mysterious CEO was rampant in financial circles. Some thought it was a former Wall Street executive. Others believed it was a group of Silicon Valley entrepreneurs. No one suspected the quiet janitor who cleaned their offices every night. Then came the day that would change everything. I was emptying Bradley Thompson's trash when I saw it, a confidential memo about Sterling Financial's impending collapse. The company had made a series of catastrophically bad investments, covering them up through creative accounting. They were weeks away from insolvency, and none of their employees knew. My first thought was about the regular workers, the receptionists, mail clerks, maintenance staff. People like me, at least as far as the executives were concerned. They would lose everything while the top executives probably had golden parachutes waiting. That night, in my hidden office, I made a decision. Torres Ventures had grown into a $300 million company over the past 5 years. We had the resources to acquire Sterling Financial, restructure it, and save those jobs. But doing so would mean revealing myself. I spent the next week carefully planning every detail. Torres Ventures began quietly buying up Sterling Financial's devalued stock through various subsidiaries. By the time Bradley Thompson realized what was happening, we owned 40% of the company. The morning everything changed started like any other. I pushed my cleaning cart down the hallway, listening to the panicked whispers. The entire executive floor was in chaos. Torres Ventures now owns 51% of our shares. Bradley was shouting into his phone. How did we not see this coming? Who the hell is behind this company? I smiled to myself as I cleaned the windows, watching his reflection as he paced back and forth. Suddenly, Jessica from HR burst into his office, her face pale. The Torres Ventures CEO is coming here. Today, they're calling an emergency board meeting at 2 p.m. Bradley slammed his phone down. Finally, I want to see who this mysterious bastard is who thinks they can take over my company. I finished my shift at noon, earlier than usual. Instead of taking the bus home, I walked to the luxury apartment building 2 blocks away where I kept my CEO wardrobe. The transformation took an hour: expensive suit, designer watch, perfectly styled hair. Looking in the mirror, I barely recognized myself. At exactly 2 p.m., I walked into Sterling Financial's main conference room. The entire board was there, along with key executives. Bradley Thompson sat at the front, his face set in a hostile glare. The CEO of Torres Ventures, my assistant, announced. Yes, I had an assistant. She was one of the few people who knew my true identity. I watched their faces as I walked in, confusion at first, then disbelief. Jessica's mouth fell open. Michael Chen dropped his pen. Bradley Thompson stood up, his face turning red. This is some kind of joke, he sputtered. This is our janitor. I took my place at the head of the table, setting down my briefcase calmly. Marcus Torres, CEO of Torres Ventures. And yes, until about 2 hours ago, I was also your janitor. The room erupted in chaos. People were shouting, demanding explanations. I held up my hand, and to my satisfaction, they fell silent. For 5 years, I began, my voice carrying across the stunned room. I cleaned your offices, I emptied your trash, I scrubbed your floors. And while you were all too busy looking down on me to notice, I built a company worth over $300 million. I turned to Michael Chen. You told me I should have studied harder in school. I graduated summa cum laude from MIT with a double major in business and computer science. His face went pale as several people turned to stare at him. Jessica, I continued, watching her shrink in her seat, you made fun of my shabby clothes. The watch I'm wearing right now costs more than your annual salary. But unlike you, I don't judge people by what they wear. Bradley Thompson had found his voice again. This is impossible. You're nothing but a janitor? I finished for him. Yes, I was. And that's exactly why I succeeded. Because you never suspected me. You never thought I could understand the documents I saw while cleaning your offices. You never thought I could build something bigger than anything you've achieved. I opened my briefcase and began distributing folders. Now let's discuss the real reason I'm here. I know of the cover-up, the bad investments, the impending collapse. I own 51% of Sterling Financial, which means I'm now in charge. The blood drained from Bradley's face. How did you? I saw everything, I said simply. When you think someone's invisible, you don't bother hiding things from them. I stood up, buttoning my jacket. There will be changes. First, all current non-executive employees will keep their jobs. The company will be restructured, but will protect the people who actually do the work around here. "You can't do this," Bradley protested weakly. I smiled. "I already have." "Oh, and one more thing. The janitors, maintenance staff, and all other support personnel are getting an immediate 50% raise. It's amazing how much money you can find when you cut out excessive executive bonuses." Over the next few weeks, Sterling Financial transformed. I replaced most of the executive team with people who had actual skills rather than just connections. Bradley Thompson tried to sue, claiming I had obtained information illegally, but everything I'd done was completely legal. Being a janitor didn't mean I couldn't look at papers left in plain sight. The story of the janitor CEO made headlines. Suddenly, everyone wanted to interview me to learn how I built my company while working as a custodian. I turned down most requests, but I did agree to speak at a few universities, telling my story to students who might need to hear that success doesn't always follow a traditional path. Jessica tried to apologize, claiming she had never meant to be cruel. Michael Chen sent a long email explaining that his comments were just jokes. I didn't respond to either of them. Some bridges, once burned, shouldn't be rebuilt. 6 months later, Sterling Financial had been completely integrated into Taurus Ventures. Our market value had doubled, and our innovative trading algorithms were revolutionizing the industry. I kept the janitor's closet where I used to store my cleaning supplies. It was converted into a small museum of sorts, displaying my old cleaning cart, uniform, and a photo of me from my days as the invisible janitor. Every new employee is required to visit that closet on their first day. It serves as a reminder that you never know who someone might be, what they might be capable of. Success doesn't always wear a suit and tie. Sometimes it pushes a cleaning cart and waits for the right moment to reveal itself. I still think about those years sometimes, about the people who looked right through me, who thought they were better than the quiet man who cleaned their offices. Their judgments, their mockery, their dismissive attitudes, all of it helped fuel my determination to succeed. Today, I'm known as one of the most innovative CEOs in the financial technology sector. Taurus Ventures is valued at over $2 billion, and we're expanding into new markets every year. But I never forgot what it felt like to be invisible. That's why my company now has one unusual policy that surprises many people in the industry. Every executive, including me, spends one day each month working alongside our custodial staff. It's amazing how differently you treat people when you've walked in their shoes. Last week, I was back on the executive floor, not in a suit this time, but in a janitor's uniform. A young executive who was working late didn't recognize me and barely looked up as I emptied his trash. I smiled to myself, wondering if he knew that the cleaning guy he was ignoring could buy and sell his entire career without blinking. But I didn't say anything. After all, being underestimated had served me well. Sometimes the best success stories are written by the people no one sees coming.